Well, welcome everyone to the National Wellness Alliance web series. We are very excited to have you here this evening. My name is Jackie Russo. I'm a nurse and a dentist living in Boca Raton, Florida. And I have an interesting story how I got involved in wellness. I mean, other than being in healthcare my whole life, but I actually never really understood about prevention and wellness the way I did once I myself became a patient. About 10 years ago, I got arthritis in both my hands, and it was so bad I had to stop practicing dentistry. And, as we learn in medical school, nursing school, if you have a symptom, there is probably a pill that will take care of that symptom, which is exactly what happened to me. I was put on some anti-inflammatories, prescription strength. Several of them were taken off the market during the time I was taking them because they were so uh, toxic to the liver and the kidneys. But nonetheless, they did improve my pain for 3 or 4 years. I was on them every day for 3 or 4 years. And then about 5 years ago, I really started feeling badly. I was experiencing pain all over my body. I couldn't sleep very well because my shoulders and my hips were so sore, and I was fatigued because I wasn't sleeping, and then I was depressed because my life was so miserable. My quality of life was terrible, and I was about to turn 50, and honestly, I felt like I was about 100 years old. So I asked my doctors to send me to the Mayo Clinic, which they did, and we did extensive testing for immune syndromes and all kinds of things. They MRI'd me, CAT scanned me, did gallons of blood work, x-rays. And the bottom line for me was that I just had arthritis. It was an inflammatory situation, probably inherited, and the best they could do for me was give me stronger anti-inflammatory drugs, narcotics for my bad days, and then an antidepressant, so that I wouldn't slip my wrist, which I was about ready to do. So I walked out of that appointment thinking, wow, the next 50 years of my life don't hold much promise. I think I'm going to do a little bit more research. And that's what started me on this path to wellness and how I became involved with this company who now is launching a product called AgeLock TR90, which we're going to be talking about today. So what I'm telling you is that we have to be our own health advocates. And right now, we have obesity, which is now the new smoking as far as the amount of chronic diseases that it can and conditions that it impacts. The food industry, the lack of direction from doctors and healthcare providers have just completely caused this epidemic to be outrageous. We've now got at least a third of the population obese. More than half is overweight. Even our children now, 17% of our children are obese. So the question begs, what are we going to do about this? How many of you have been on a diet? I'd love to hear about all the crazy diets that everybody's been on. I know I've been on them. I've probably lost over my lifetime 100 pounds, 5 or 10 pounds at each, diet. But guess what happens? I always gain the weight back. So there's got to be something missing. And I can guarantee you that there is. And like I mentioned, today more than 95% of all chronic disease is caused by our food choices, the toxic food ingredients that are being shoved down our throats by the food industry. And then, so therefore, we have nutritional deficiencies. We add in lack of exercise, and we're a bunch of hurting puppies. So we've got to do something about it. Now, if we really are what we eat, then there's only one solution, right? We got to eat a skinny person. Well, seriously, what can we do? What should we do? Should we do the low fat, low carb, low calorie? What should we do? Well, first we need to understand why dieting doesn't work. And I'm going to show you a quick video here that's going to explain to you exactly why diets make you fat.
Let me tell you the dirty secret of dieting. Dieting makes you fat. Don't believe me? In the next 90 seconds, I'll prove it. This is Bob. Bob wants to look good at his reunion, at the beach, or just look better naked. So Bob diets and loses 30 pounds. That's great, right? Wrong. Losing 30 pounds and thinking you're healthy is like cutting off both of your arms and celebrating for losing weight. The scale doesn't matter. Everyone has what we call an internal body engine, which consists of your organs and your lean muscle. Your body engine is always running and burning calories. As long as your body engine is running properly, you'll burn calories naturally. When Bob dieted and lost 30 pounds, what he didn't know was only 20 pounds of what he lost was fat. The other 10 pounds were lean muscle from his body engine and therefore lowered the number of calories he burns naturally. So Bob gets off his diet and falls back into his normal eating habits. But since his body engine isn't burning as many calories anymore, all of those extra calories that aren't being used go straight to fat. Bob gains more than he weighed before, and so he diets again. But he damages his body engine again and gains even more. He's fallen into the vicious cycle of dieting. So what's a guy to do? Through our weight management programs and unique technology, we focus on body fat percentage and strengthening your body engine, aka building your lean tissue to burn calories naturally. A bigger body engine burns more calories, meaning you'll maintain a healthy body for months and years ahead. Yes! You'll know you're in great shape when you lose inches and your body fat percentage lowers. Now, Bob is looking great at his reunion, looking better at the beach, and looking his best when he's naked. We're changing the
All right, so I hope that helps to drive home the point that dieting the wrong way is worse than doing nothing at all. And that's a pretty sad thing to say, right? And the very first thing we want you to do is stop being obsessed with the scale, the typical scale anyway, because all you're measuring is one component of body size. Now, there is a scale called the Omron scale, which measures not only weight, but BMI. It measures body fat percentage, visceral fat, which is the really bad toxic goo that builds up around our midsection that is really dangerous for those of us in our middle age. It also measures our skeletal lean muscle. It measures our metabolic rate and our body age. And it's a great scale, very inexpensive, that you can buy. And I highly recommend it for anyone who is planning to embark on a weight management body reshaping system. Now, we understand that success is so much more important than the number that you see on the scale, right? It just makes sense. I mean, or our pants, or have a waist measurement that is, how about reducing our body fat? Those things are so much more important than what the weight says on the scale, and I'm going to show you why. Now, we also have to understand that being overweight has severe emotional ramifications. But we want you to remember that you are not fat. You just have some temporary fat hanging around. Now let's see what we can do about it. This photo demonstrates that not all weight, again, from the scale is created equally. Fat weighs less than muscle, and it looks a lot different, doesn't it? Even at the same body mass index, 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, same BMI, you can see that weight is just not a very good way to judge health, a healthy body weight. And here's the actual proof. I apologize for the quality of the picture, but this woman started out at a very high body fat percentage. She only weighed 123 pounds, but she had a lot of body fat, more than 30%. And as she reshaped her body, she lost body fat, but she actually gained weight. Now, some of you, if you're only using the scale, you're furious. This is not, this is a failure. But look at the change in her body. And if you look at the bottom of the picture, you see why. 10 pounds of fat takes up a lot more space than 10 pounds of muscle. Which body would you rather have? I think we all agree we'd rather have the body on the right. So here again is the key to healthy body reshaping. The traditional diet causes us to get smaller, yes, lose fat, but we also lose muscle, which decreases our metabolic burn. With our new program that we're going to be talking about today, we're going to lose fat, but we're going to maintain that lean muscle, and that's going to maintain our metabolic burn at the highest capacity. Now, studies show that the more lean muscle you have, the more calories you burn even at rest. And did you know that you burn the majority of your calories while you're sleeping, while you're sitting on the couch? So the more body fat you lose, the more muscle you maintain, the more calories you are going to burn. And this picture is what happens to most of us when we go on traditional diets. As soon as I see this slide, I think of Oprah Winfrey and what terrible advice she's gotten over the years, because we start out at a weight, we go on a diet, we reach our goal, we do lose weight. But what happens? We get down here to our goal, but we've lost that lean muscle. So as we go back to eating normally again, we gain all that weight back and more. And we go on another diet and we lose some weight, yes, but we lose more muscle. So we kill our body engine again. We gain all that weight back and more. And this is exactly why diets make us fat. The HCG diet, the cookie diet, any low-calorie starvation diet that does not address eating a lot of protein and maintaining muscle mass is going to create this problem. So it's just not a good way to do it. Now, besides food choices, lack of physical exercise, and just crummy diet habits, what else sabotages our efforts to stay at a healthy body weight? Well, in the battle of the middle age bulge, one contributing factor that up until now we couldn't do anything about is our genes, our actual genes on our DNA. Our genes, at least the fat burning ones, they go to sleep as we get older. They're not as efficient at burning the fuel that we take in as calories. And the fat storage genes, they're on steroids. They're storing fat like crazy. And so it's not difficult to understand why we have this middle-aged weight gain. And where do we gain most of the weight? In our middle, where it's the toxic visceral fat, the dangerous fat. And that is why so many chronic diseases are caused by being overweight. Now, with new gene science, we now know how to reset gene activity back to youthful levels of expression. Now, to put that in an analogy that will make sense, because it sounds a little sci-fi. I know it does. But remember when you were little and you'd sprain your ankle, and yeah, it would hurt for a couple days, but you'd put a little tape on it, maybe use it for a day. By the end of the week, you were back to normal, right? Well, it's the same. That's your genes. If you were to have that same ankle sprain at 50 years old, I promise you it would take you longer, because that produce collagen and cartilage and all of the blood vessel cells and all of those genes that control healing are at a diminished efficiency as we age. It's just like an old computer. It just doesn't work as fast as it did. There's junk in, which causes our computer to slow, and all the environmental toxins and the pesticides and the herbicides and the stress and everything that goes on inside of our body just junks up our gene pool, and our genes don't work as effectively. In fact, they get all flipped and switched, and so we're fighting our own genetics as we age when it comes to weight loss as well. But I'm going to introduce you to a breakthrough weight management system that's based on highly innovative gene expression science, and I promise you it is the missing link to body reshaping. So this is the science where the rubber really hits the road. And bear with me, but because you've probably never heard of this concept before, but our scientists all over the world now know that we have 25,000 genes on our DNA. They have identified each one of those genes. They don't know what every single one of them does yet, but they know they've identified them. And so what our scientists are able to do is search through that gene pool and identify groups of genes that contribute to a symptom of aging. In this case, we're talking about weight management, body fat burning, and fat storage. And so we take a look at this thing called a heat map. And this is what the genes look like in a person who is of average weight, normal weight. He's got a whole bunch of genes in the blue zone that are on fire. They are just burning fat like crazy. You whatever food you eat, this person's genes are going to efficiently burn that fat. Now, all of these genes that are red, these are the fat storage genes. And guess what? They're sound asleep. They are not being bothered. They're not storing fat. This person is in a very healthy balance of fat burning. Now, let's instead look at someone who's very overweight, who needs to go on a body reshaping program. Here's what their gene profile looks like. It's almost the exact opposite of the lean control. All of the fat burning genes sound asleep. All the fat storage genes on fire. So no wonder this person probably doesn't eat very well, probably has screwed up their genes through, poor food choices, lack of exercise, because there are many ways to reset your genes. But our scientists have found through screening of ingredients and observing genetic expression, they have found ingredients in nature that actually reset these genes, these bad genes, to mimic the expression of healthier fat burning genes. You can see that these two columns are not identical, but they are certainly much different than the high fat control. And it is through this gene expression science that we can create products that help us become efficient burners of fat. Now, there are other problems with dieting. We all know that, willpower, we have cravings when we're on a diet. Just the word diet, the first three letters are die, D-I-E. And so it sets off a whole trigger in our brain that makes us feel deprived. It makes us, challenges our willpower, creates these cravings that we might not have even had we not told ourselves we were on a diet. Our energy levels drop, our mood, we get headachy, we get cranky. So guess what? Our scientists have also discovered the genes in our brain that those genes that affect appetite control, eating behaviors, and hunger and satiety. So once those genes are identified, once again, they screen for ingredients that will mimic healthy genetic expression in those genes. So once again, we have the lean comparison group, the control group, and this is what healthy gene expression looks like. Here is someone who is about to go on the TR90 program. They're overweight, and again, almost the exact opposite gene profile. After 90 days on TR90, their genetic profile has been completely reset within about 85% of the lean comparison group. So this is the science that is going to help us. This innovative gene science is going to help us to take the TR90, the 90-day challenge, and it's going to help us to create a younger, healthier you. Now, let's talk a little bit about the program. There are three equally important components to this program. The first are the advanced gene expression-based scientific products. The second is a very simple eating plan. You're going to eat real food, and you're going to eat what foods you enjoy eating. And then, of course, there's no weight management redesign system that's going to work very well if you're not moving your body. So first, let's talk about the products. There are 4 different products on this program. There are drinks, shakes, and supplements. They all leverage gene expression science to help us achieve our goals. Let's take a little bit deeper look at each one. These products have been studied and developed by a team of 75 PhD level scientists from all different disciplines. The ingredients are all natural, plant-based derivatives that work in harmony to reset our genes to burn fat and minimize the common side effects of dieting. They are dairy-free, gluten-free, sugar-free, and completely stimulant-free. They're safe and effective for almost anyone wanting to reshape their body. The first product is ageLOC Jumpstart. And Jumpstart gets your body primed by improving your metabolic rate and resetting those genes that help your body to burn and store fat more efficiently. It's also got a very powerful appetite control component. This product you take for the first 15 days, and it is a critical component of the program because it allows you to see some pretty amazing changes in your body in those first 2 weeks, which is a really good motivator when you're going on a program like this. Now, age lock control helps to reset the genes that we saw earlier that control mood, willpower, and cravings. And it also helps us to maintain healthy cortisol levels that keep us in our happy place. And this product we take twice a day throughout the entire 90-day program. Age-Lock Fit is a key component in resetting those genes that burn and store fat and just turn our bodies into fat burning machines. It increases fat burn, decreases fat storage, and it promotes really efficient body reshaping. This product is taken 3 times a day right before your meals, and it's taken the entire 90 days. AgeLock TR90 Trim Shake is a delicious shake that gives you consistent protein while helping you control the amount of calories that you're eating. Now, it is not a meal replacement shake. It provides 15 grams of protein, and protein is a big part of this program. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But you're going to drink this shake along with a healthy meal of lean protein and fruits and vegetables. You're going to use this shake twice a day. Now, for me, I'm not a big eater for breakfast in the morning, but it's very important that you give your body some fuel in the morning after it's been fasting all day. So you can bump up the amount of protein in this shake by adding Protein Boost or another plant-based protein source so that you can get 30 to 35 grams of protein in the shake if you prefer to do it that way in the morning. But we want you to be eating real food and not just drinking shakes. They come in chocolate and vanilla, and they are delicious. They also have a proprietary fiber in it that slows the digestion of these shakes so that you feel full longer. And, again, we're just trying to reduce those hunger pangs and cravings. It also helps to regulate blood sugar because we're keeping our blood sugar levels stable throughout the day. Now, we also have a green shake available for vegetarians and vegans, which is lactose-free, gluten-free, soy-free. It's all vegetable proteins from pea and chia and rice protein. It's got a bunch of other great green phytonutrients in it. Some people just don't like the looks of a green shake. I find this to be delicious with a little extra spinach and a few chunks of pineapple in it. I drink one of these every day. I love it. It's also going to provide 15 grams of protein to help you maintain that protein intake. So now we're going to go to the eating plan. We've talked about the products. Now we're going to talk about the 3-2-1 eating plan. And the 3-2-1 means every day you're going to get 3 meals of lean protein. And again, protein is the key here. We're trying to spare our lean muscle. And the only way we can do that is if we provide adequate protein in our diet. Depending on your target goal weight, we're going to determine for you how many grams of protein you need at each meal. It's going to be somewhere between 30 and 60 grams. So 3 times a day, you're going to eat a meal. 2 of those meals, you're going to drink one of your shakes, and then you're going to add an additional 15 to 45 grams of protein to that meal. And then twice a day, you're going to have a snack, and we encourage you to eat lots of vegetables, some fruits. Protein bars are okay as long as they're not garbage protein bars. We want you to be mindful of the amount of calories that you're eating, but this is not really a calorically restricted diet. It's more about food choices and food spacing and composition of those meals. And then the last, the one of the 3-2-1 is one non-shake healthy meal a day. And these can be your meal can be at dinner time if that's when you're, socially it's It's better for you to sit down and have a meal with your family, but you can interchange these. If lunch is a good time for you to have your healthy meal and do the shake at night, that's fine. It does not matter the order. It just matters that you keep yourself in that fat burning zone by eating 3 to 5 um, times a day. We want to keep our body's engine burning. So we're going to ask you to eat healthy food. We want you to eliminate all processed foods. Nobody should eat that garbage. It's killing us. And we want you to eliminate white foods like bread, pasta, crackers, and definitely sugar. We're almost up to 200 pounds a year in this country in sugar consumption, and it's just no wonder we're all fat. So we're gonna ask you to give up some of the sugar. If you do this for 90 days, you're going to feel like a different person. It's going to be very easy to eat like this for life, which would mean that you would have a very healthy lifestyle for life, and that's our main goal. Now, the third component, obviously, is an active lifestyle, which is critical to this plan. We want you to strive for a minimum of 30 minutes of moderate activity at least 3 times a week. But really, 3 to 4 hours a week you just have to make time for a healthy uh, exercise plan. And it can be biking or walking or swimming or tennis, whatever. Just if the more active you are, the better the results you're going to have. So we've got some pretty impressive clinical results. We saw a significant decrease in both body weight and in fat loss in both men and women. We saw visible decreases in stomach, thigh, and calf measurements. All participants reported reduced craving and decreased hunger at the end of their 90-day challenge. Now let's take a look at some of the body composition results. There are two things to look at on this slide. One is obviously the amount of body fat loss. And you can see that by day 90, we were seeing an average of almost 8% body fat reduction. That's enormous. 8%. That's huge. And a lot of that is going to be visceral fat, which is that dangerous fat that we've been speaking about. But the other thing that's important to note on this screen is the lean body mass. We didn't lose any of our lean body mass, which is critical if we want to maintain this healthy weight for life. Remember, this is our body's engine and our ability to burn calories. So that's a pretty impressive slide. Now, what did the body look like at the end of 90 days? Well, average participants lost 3 inches in their waist circumference. 3 inches for men, that's at least one pant size. For women, that's a big deal. You can now wear your belts again. Hips 2.5 inches, arms 1 inch, ankle circumference 3/4 of an inch. So some pretty impressive body composition improvements on this program. And you notice we're not talking about weight again. And here's another example of one of our clients that went on this program. She did not change her weight. Her weight did not change, but do you think that her body's been transformed? I can tell you she's smiling on the right for a reason. Pretty incredible. I love this slide because these two people were both pretty miserable. Physically, they, reported lack of energy and stamina. They had a hard time walking upstairs, and they were disgusted by their belly fat. And I want you to see the difference in 90 days. Now, obviously, these people had a lot more than 3 inches difference in their waist. Incredible, just incredible. Men tend to gain their weight mostly in the midsections. So we see the most dramatic shift in body composition in men right through here. I mean, he had a six-pack underneath this, but who knew? I can tell you he's pretty happy about it right now. Now, you don't have to be middle-aged to improve your body shape. This gal was only 24 years old, and she did lose weight, and she also drastically reduced her body fat down to 16%. That's incredible. So this program can do a lot of good things for you. Here's Connie Chin. Again, she just melted the fat off of her body and lost 10.5 inches. Steve Sledge, 17 inches lost. And that was only on day 60. He still has another month to go. It'd be interesting to see him another month from now, wouldn't it? And then we have Don Lovelace. Wow, he's half the man he used to be. 34 pounds lost, 20 inches. Pretty incredible. So, whether you have a body fat percentage issue that you want to lose, if you just want to get back into your skinny clothes, or if you just want to get healthier, we believe that AgeLock TR90 is a clinically proven system of products, a system of healthy eating and exercise, all based on highly innovative gene expression science that will help you to unify your mind and body for a younger, leaner looking you. If you'd like more information on this program, please feel free to contact me so we can set up a consultation. I want to thank everyone for your time today and wish you Godspeed and God bless you on your journey. Thank you very much.